This week's episode is all about the #1 productivity hack that you will ever pick up. I can guarantee if you pick just one of the options I'm going to present you with today, you will see your productivity soar. So let's get started. Hi, this is Simon Phillips, and this week's episode is all about the #1 productivity hack that you can possibly imagine. It's all about prioritization. Why to bother? 3 ways of doing it. In fact, if you're lucky, I might give you a half as well. So let's get started in terms of thinking about it. Why bother in the first place? Well, the reason is, there's 2 things. One is, if we don't do it, we'll end up feeling overwhelmed because everything is a priority. If you think about it, if I'm not saying something is more important or something is more important to me than something else, then I'm likely to just do whatever comes first through the door. But that also means that things start to pile up. And as they pile up, if I've got no way of understanding what's in that pile, I'm going to feel overwhelmed, as if this is unmanageable. And the second reason why it's important is without a list, without a prioritized list of things to do, I'm actually going to feel like I'm making no progress. Because some of the things that I'm doing are not necessarily of that much interest to me, or they're not the things that stimulate me or get me excited to get up in the morning. And so I'm just generally going to feel like I'm walking in treacle. So either I'm going to be overwhelmed or I'm not going to feel like I'm making any progress at all. So those are 2 significant reasons why you should be thinking about prioritizing in the first place. Okay, method 1 for prioritizing is the Brian Tracy ABC method. And what Brian's asking us to do is to look at all the things that we could do and decide what's most important. And once we've got that list of priorities, we can then put them into A, B, or C. And very simply, an A, according to the Brian Tracy method, is something that's very important. A B is of secondary importance. And so a C is something that's just nice to do. It's not that important at all. And that's it. That's all that the ABC method is suggesting you do. The nice thing about this method is it's quite flexible. You can work with it, you can modify it, you can make it work for you. The second method I want to recommend to you is one that Stephen Covey put forward. Stephen Covey is the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is otherwise known as what's urgent and what's important. There's a matrix that comes with that. I think it precedes Covey because I've seen it also positioned as the Eisenhower method as well. So what's this all about? Well, what it's trying to say is if something is going to be prioritized, it needs to be urgent and it needs to be important. If it's urgent and important, then we need to get on with it straight away. If it's not urgent but important, then we need to plan to do it. So that becomes our number 2, if you like. If it's urgent but not important, then that becomes a priority 3. That's something that we're going to delegate to others potentially. And if it's not urgent and it's not important, we're going to eliminate that as quickly as possible. So those are the 4 areas, if you like, in the Stephen Covey quadrant. And what's good about this one is you can get very specific in your thinking about what it is that you want to do, or indeed what's in front of you. You can look at something and say, that's urgent, that one's important though, and I need to make sure I give some time to that. And the third method I want to recommend to you is one from my book, which is also taken from the 24/7 system. And the root of this prioritization system is our life goals. That's how we determine what's important. It's not determined by other people and what they think is important. It's determined by us. What's important to me? So it starts with our life map and thinking about everything that we would want to do with our lives. And then we break that down into goals And from there, we get a listing process that says, is it priority 1, is it priority 2, or is it priority 3? And let me explain a little bit more about each of those. So have you ever thought it would be wonderful to do something specific in your life? There's a big goal that you have, or maybe there's an ambition that you have, but you never seem to get round to it. It always seems to be secondary in everything that happens in your life. The job comes first, the family comes first, other people's issues come first. Well, this way of thinking helps you really focus on what you'd love to do and gives you a structure for making it happen. So what could be better than that? So I've determined a life goal and I've decided this is something I really want to achieve. How am I going to prioritize to make sure it happens? Well, the way we do it is to say anything that directly contributes to that life goal becomes a priority 1. Priority 1 means I'm going to put some time into it every single day because it's something I want to do. It's a life goal of mine. That's a priority 1. A priority 2 becomes something that indirectly contributes. And a little bit like the secondary activities that Brian Tracy talked about, these are things that contribute, like messages, like phone calls, like administration, all of those things that seem to be a constant in our lives, but they are there for a reason. We need to put some time into them, so they're secondary in our prioritization system. Priority 2, things that indirectly contribute to our life goals. And a priority 3 is something that's not contributing to our life goals at all. So what we're going to do with those, because potentially that's a pretty big list, isn't it? What we're going to do though is we're going to use this thinking to decide, what am I doing with my time? If my time is going into other people's issues, other people's goals, other people's priorities, what about mine? So priority 3, we're trying to eliminate, a bit like the priority 4s in the Stephen Covey mechanism, because why should I be spending my time working on things that contribute to other people's life goals rather than my own? Now, I'm not saying here to be completely selfish. There are things that we do because we like to help and we like to support other people. But if that's really true, make that part of your life goals. Your life goal might include supporting other people. But if it doesn't, if there's activities that you're doing, maybe there's a job you're doing right now which is doing no more than ticking a box for you, maybe that's the thing that you need to think about differently. How could I spend the majority of my time so that I'm focused on my life goals? So priority 3s we're trying to eliminate. So I promised you an extra half, but it's not what you're hoping for, I suspect. This half is stop looking for things to do. Focus in on your life goals, focus in on your priorities, and stop looking for extra things that just distract you and take you away from the things that really fulfill you and make your life meaningful. Sometimes life is not about doing, life is about being. Find time to restore, find time to look after yourself, find time to say, I'm going to add this to my not to do list. There you go, there's a half of a plan. You can prioritize things straight off your list onto a not to do list, giving you more time to just be and you more time to enjoy the fruits of your activities. So there you go, 3.5 ways to be more productive and to prioritize things in your life. Let me know in the comments below which one you're going to try, and let me know how you get on. If this was helpful, share it with somebody that you really love and help them prioritize things in their life. And give me a like if you enjoyed it. Come back here, set the notifications, and I will see you this time next week. Take care.